We're starting to assemble the PUMA Pro Flight Trainer. Just before we start, a few words. There are several small bolts with nuts and washers. Some don't have washers, and those are for the parts that are fixed. They're not supposed to be adjusted. Those with washers are for the parts that are supposed to be adjusted. I'm using a provided 7mm small wrench, and what I do is that I put a little bit of tape so that when I handle one of the small nuts, it doesn't tend to fall out, but can come out easily when it's fast. And that way you can reach places that require like an exact placement, but they are not easy to do with your fingers. Then I'm using a small electric screwdriver. I put an H3 bit in it so that it can be used for this type of bolts. And that's about it. I will give you more details as we go along. The one thing I'm doing, because I'm 6 foot tall, is to basically use the wider, I would say, adjustment. So we can start with the first part, which is this longer side piece, which connects more or less all the pieces together. Actually, this one has a washer because it's adjustable, and what I'm going to do is to put it in the second of these holes, 1 and 2 from the end. And what I'm going to do is also to add the seat stay, which is at the very end of this assembly. So what I'm going to do is to put the nut in there. I already assembled the seat portion of this. There are two styles. One is this kind of wider flange. One is narrower. I think this is the upgraded one. But anyway, it's just two bolts and they're symmetrical, so you can put it really in both directions. And then there is another small nut with the small nuts and bolts with the two washers. Again, this is a part that is supposed to be adjusted, and so I do the same thing. I face the same direction. In the instruction, actually it tells you to put it the other way around. And here I can go ahead and use my small electric screwdriver. It's just easier. So now I'm gonna install the cyclic assembly. It basically slides right in position. There is a small part here which we'll talk about later, and this goes right against this longitudinal member. So I'm going to use the nuts and bolts without the washer here, and for this is handy to use that wrench. I'm just going to slide the bolt here so it just doesn't fall. That's all there is about it. And then try to guess where the hole is. There you go. This just makes it a little bit easier. Once you get all 4 of them, you can go ahead and tie them then. Alright, so that's done. Go to the next piece, which is this component here. So the way this is attached is to the end of this longitudinal member, and for this I'm going to use one of the longest screws that has, in this case, washers. Alright, so what goes in between is the electronic board. So we can already open this, take the cover off, make sure that nothing falls, good save, and these are all the contacts where the cabling is going to end up, and the USB port on this side. So what we can do here is to go ahead and take this off. To the other side. So using the same system, 1, 2. Then on this side is adjustable, so I'm gonna use these guys, and I'm gonna use a washer. There we go. So again, this is all the way to the end, and this structure now is solid. And what I'm going to do now is to install the grip. Trigger toward the pedals, and more or less you have the same process here. There is a cable inside here, so make sure that you don't pinch it. Go. It's free. Also, this is a great feature because it actually goes all the way down, and so this component here inserts in the slot here, so that it limits the travel and it doesn't allow it to go out, and it also doubles as calibration piece when you turn it around. We will see that after we assemble it and we commission it. And now basically for the last part, which is to install this angle piece. It's got all set an angle, and this installs at the end here. Again, there is a number of adjustments, so I'm going to use the widest one, and then the understanding is that I can make it smaller if I need to. So here we use the remaining nuts and bolts with washers. So I'm using, you can again adjust. So I'm going to use some mid-range holes here to do this. Right, but this will do. So essentially this part of the mechanical assembly is complete. So now for the cabling, basically everything is expected to end up in the control box, and which is what I will do, and being strapped. You can use this small Velcro to fasten the cable underneath here. So you can put this like so. As far as all these other cables are concerned, you need to route them appropriately. So this one I'm going to put under from the anti-torque pedals, and you don't want anything to get caught. So this one we could put directly in the back. As well as this one, and this is the trickiest one, the front one. You want to make sure that this movement does not hit any. So what we're going to do is to secure this, all these cables. There's nothing in the way, and then what has to happen is that they go under this board in the back of the board, but inside the box until they come out from the other end. And so that's what you want to do with all of them. Slide them inside the box, but behind the board. Plus whatever comes here, and they all get fastened into this strap. As far as the connection, so you locate cable 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 are actually single cables, and 5 is part of a bundle which also contains 9. So here we go, black on the edge of the board side. Start from number 1. And 5. Then we take six, 7, 8 and 9, black toward the edge of the board. 7, 8, and 9, which is down here. Right. Now we got 3 left, and these are numbered 0, 0, 0, 1 and 0, 2. 0, 0 is the only one that goes into slot number 7, which is up here. And then we have 0, 1 and 0, 2. 0, 1 and 0, 2 go into... I'm going to start pulling some cables back just to avoid, as they're supposed to be. And we want to pull back some of these and then strap everything with the strap that is already attached to the board. So then we can complete by closing it up, and the last 2 remaining nuts, no washers. And that's it for the assembly of the PUMA ProFlight trainer.